Hello, welcome to my Sunday From. Today I just have a little read, some news briefs and some weather to give you guys. And as per usual, if you like this look, I'm gonna upload the video, how to get this makeup. So how to achieve this look for the tutorial. It'll be up soon. So I had lots of fun Halloween. My Dia de los Muertos videos, well, they didn't do so well. I was hoping they'd do better, but I'm excited and hopeful, you know, to hit the end of the year with a bang. And I'd like you guys to all come along, so make sure you share this channel. You know, if you like any videos, make sure you share them. And don't forget to like, comment, and if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you join our community. We're building this community together, so go ahead and subscribe. So Spain declares state of disaster and deploys 10,000 troops. Now, Spain was flooded October 29th, 2024, leaving over 200 people dead, and around 2,000 missing. La Mancha, Valencia, and Andalusia were hit hard, with their streets turning into rivers. The flooding hitting highways. Within moments, 18-wheelers were floating down in its current. People climbed rooftops. 150 rescues were reported in Valencia, conducted at night. Although viral videos show a situation where all seemed unavoidable and impossible, the rain finally subsided somewhat, leaving a cleanup that was the most unimaginable scene. Lots of blame cast and doubts fell atop the gloom, leaving the civilians to pull together in droves. They, by the thousands, immediately began removing mud from the roads. Carrying backpacks and brooms along with dustpans, they swarmed the zones with an effort that left many speechless. The much-needed effort also lifted much of the burden from residents who were directly impacted, immediately houseless, without food, water, or electricity. So Spain, they declared disaster, right, and immediately deployed about 10,000 troops to aid in the assistance of the residents who were directly impacted. Many, you know, had been stranded overnight because the flood seemed like it just hit in a matter of seconds. And people were just living their life, you know, in their car, listening to the radio, watching TV. They were just living in their, you know, doing what they usually do, you know. And all of a sudden, you know, the storm just, you know, full force created this flash flood situation that a lot of people ended up on the rooftops, you know. And unfortunately, in Valencia alone, there was, like I said, 150 rescues in the night. There were a total of 202 deceased in Valencia alone. Right now the tally is 211 flood deaths in Spain. So these cities were hit hard because they are seaside and share a coast with the Mediterranean Sea. They are on the shoreline, so because there is the Mediterranean Sea nearby, you know, of course, you know, their coastal areas, they're gonna be inundated really fast. But the Atlantic Ocean is still seeing tropical weather, which does damper the efforts in Spain. Although on the other side of the country, named Storm Patty will downgrade from Tropical Storm Patty Sunday, headed for the coasts of Portugal and Spain, though the track is currently forecast to make landfall as a depression at Santiago de Compostela Tuesday morning before noon. The storm surge should arrive before noon And this should happen about 6 a.m. Tuesday, when it nears both Portugal and Spain. So there is a storm on the other side of the country, in the Atlantic Ocean side of the country, which is like the west coast, right? Because Valencia is the east coast. So and it shares like a coastline with Portugal, and there's a storm, tropical storm Patty is currently on its path toward that coastline, in which it is set to make landfall at Spain's shores Tuesday, and it will start you know, creating like a little bit of coastal flooding probably around 6 a.m. on Tuesday, and before noon it will arrive on land Tuesday morning. But so that's gonna kind of damper things, I think, because they're having like a really huge recovery effort over there. And I know everybody has pulled together, and people have spoken out, and many people are concerned, you know, because the need for more assistance and more effort. You see, there's some roads that are actually blocked by cars and boats and things like you wouldn't even believe. When I say unimaginable scene, I don't just mean the apocalyptic condition, because that happened overnight, where the flood just kind of, you know, kind of like the ocean just poured in almost, because the flash flood caused everything just to be pushed, you know, in the direction of its currents. When the water kind of subsided and went back into the ocean, it left cars just piled upon each other all over, you know, the roads. And so they're having to remove that, but luckily for them, they have each other, and the civilians are boots on the ground in recovery efforts, you know, pushing the mud out and off the roads. And they're doing a really good job, you know. I haven't seen an effort like that in a long time, you know. It kind of reminds me of North Carolina, and also Cuba, where they're, you know, currently still in recovery from Oscar. They're restocking the pantries and, you know, offering the families assistance for little furniture and things for their children, and, you know, so I mean, it kind of lifts a little bit of burden from those who are impacted by these disasters. So Tropical Storm Lane currently spinning in the Pacific Ocean below and far east of Hawaii. It is expected to dissipate and not affect land at all. So next week it's just gonna spin off in the middle of nowhere. It doesn't have like any path that's gonna affect land at all. And this is called Tropical Storm Lane. So the Caribbean is currently seeing severe weather. And speaking of Cuba, with a storm yet to be named near Central America, it is unlikely the weather is going to improve as the system approaches the Gulf of Mexico. It will also affect the Yucatan and Cuba. So we are currently watching a system. If you watch some of my other videos, well, if you watch another video I had earlier about that system in the Caribbean by Central America, it is still there, and it is about 80% chance of development, possibly, you know, over the weekend it said, but it is favorable for development in a path towards the Gulf of Mexico, which some suspect it is going to dissipate. Some suspect it is going to lean towards Yucatan, and a lot of forecasters have mentioned Florida. So that's why a lot of people are on high alert still, as there is no, you know, decisive track of current time. So we're just watching it. Of course, it is, so far what we know is it's going up towards the Yucatan, between the Yucatan and Cuba. So it's definitely going to affect Jamaica, Cayman Islands, and Cuba, and the Yucatan, and on its way into the Gulf of Mexico. That is a for sure thing. So it will definitely create moisture for Florida. In saying so, civil unrest is occurring in Bolivia. Their former president, Evo Morales, accused the current government of assassination attempt. He has promised to conduct a hunger strike in an effort to have his voice heard during this political rift. His supporters began a blockade, which caused high inflation, and because he feared a heightened violent crisis, he called for the pause temporarily. So Bolivia is seeing like a lot of unrest right now, and the former president Evo Morales on October 27th, 2024, accused the current government of attempts on his life, you know, assassination attempt. He wants to conduct a hunger strike, so that way he and his you know, his voice can be heard, and you know, his political party can be more visible. I think he had a bunch of supporters that were vetting for him, and they caused this blockades to which they were blocking the roads, and like I said, there's an unrest there. So when they blocked the roads, there was kind of a stall in the transportation area. So when people were trying to get to market, or you know, from farm to market, or you know, like production to on site of which, you know, a retail store or what have you, they were, you know, bombarded with this scene. And so there was a lot of chaos, and it kind of inflated the prices because they were much needed, and seeing that they were halted in being transported over. So he called his supporters to pause in these efforts, you know, that they have currently, because he was fearing violence. So Luis Arce is Bolivia's current leader and has accused the country's first indigenous leader, Evo Morales, of an air-based ambush that took place Friday in Cochabamba. The militia stormed in, holding 20 hostages, stealing arsenals of military high-powered weaponry, cutting the water and electricity as well. So Luis Arce is the president in Bolivia right now. He accuses Evo Morales and his party of a violent attack on an airbase in Cochabamba. Now, this took place on Friday, right? So this militia just stormed in, took hostages that consisted of soldiers and, you know, personnel, military personnel. And they cut the electricity, they cut the water, and, you know, they had all these demands. They took arsenals. And so he's, you know, pretty certain, you know, he's for certain that it has to be Evo Morales behind this. Nobody has yet to claim this ambush attack. Still, though, the situation drew and demanded immediate attention on both sides, to which they took immediate action. In calls for peace and further peace talks in the future, both sides stating clearly their validated concerns. So in seeing this situation arise, both sides took, you know, they even took to media, they took to pressers, they took to their people and the members of their community there in Bolivia, you know, as one nation. You know, they kind of had this solidarity in bringing more peace to the country, as there is an unrest. Like I said, it kind of shook them and woke them to this situation that could arise in further, you know, destruction of civility. So they took action immediately, and, you know, they called upon the people, and they called upon, you know, whatever they could pull, because of course they were both concerned, and you know, for fear of, you know, anything jeopardizing anything that they had, they kind of, you know, came to a conclusion that they needed to take steps to get, you know, to a point where there can be, you know, a wrangling of this crisis situation that they fear may arise soon because of the ambush alone. So and like I said, nobody has claimed the ambush. So 5 people during Halloween events were shot and killed that night in mass shootings around the nation. 2 in Orlando and 3 in Colorado. In Orlando, there were 2 suspects arrested, both in their teens. Nobody was arrested in Colorado. So Halloween night, there were 2 mass shootings around the country. And in Orlando alone, there were 2 suspected gunmen who conducted these mass shootings. They were immediately arrested. I believe there were a total of 3 named, you know, through media outlets, probably even 4, but 2 were definitely detained that night. And they do have video of suspects being arrested that went viral online. In Colorado, there were no arrests made at this point, and there's no clear suspects or, you know, any word of any, you know, anyone in question. So they don't have any clues as to that mass shooting, which took the lives of 3 citizens. So that's kind of on a sad note to leave on. But thank you guys for watching my video. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one. My Son Different. Bye-bye.